This is our Thursday evening. Why wait for recovery community meeting? I said right.
It is right. And my name is Haiti, and I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. And we get together twice a week to discuss how we get recovery. I'm a compulsive overeater, I'm a binger, I'm a purger, I'm a food addict. I am a drug addict in recovery.
She's a drug addict. I'm a drug addict, alcoholic, anorexic in recovery. And welcome everybody. It's good to see everybody tonight.
And we're two friends that hang out and talk about how we got here, share our different stories, and we have people who join us in the room, and we have people who join us online virtually, and we have people who live stream us. So welcome everybody. If you want to jump into the conversation, hop onto everything's on the Facebook page, our Why Wait for Recovery page. Jump in. Anyone sitting in the room, no one can see you. So if you are virtually in the room, or you, but the most important thing is just to be here and join in the conversation.
And talk about why recovery is so awesome and sometimes so difficult, but always so much better than not being in recovery. So tonight we're going to talk about resentments.
Yeah, that's like my favorite subject this week.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to start then?
Sure. So I had a revelation, okay, and this has been, you know, I've got teenagers, and it's a really interesting time because we're having teenagers and actually being a wife and a mother and a sister and all these different things. I wear different hats, and I kind of realized I've taught my kids how to carry resentments. So instead of rather being in the moment, there's so much that they want from me or that they feel that I haven't lived up to. And I also carry a certain amount of guilt that I didn't live up to certain things because I've been an addict for most of my life and I used for most of their lives. So I really only stepped into recovery in the last couple of months. But the thing is that I'm also learning, you know, there was a stage when I was using that I'd make my kids sit in their rooms and I just couldn't be around the noise, and I'd tell them to stay in their rooms, and all I wanted to do and all I was thinking was just shut the fuck up because I just need quiet time and I need to be able to use whatever it was. If it was food or I was smoking pot or whatever it was, I needed that alone time. So I used to push them away so I could deal with my shame and guilt and just do it on my own and hide it from everybody and pretend everything was okay.
Or not deal with your shame and guilt.
Well, at some stage it always like crept in, and part of it now is getting my kids to actually spend time with me. You know, so I'm at that stage now that I've been in recovery for a while, been clean for a while, but I still feel that there's a relationship at work, and that takes a bit of time, and it's really, for me, I resented certain things. I resented being a mother, I resented having kids, I resented being a wife. There's so many different things that I carried resentment for because that became a great justification of why it was okay for me to numb myself out and to use and not feel anything and not have to deal with where I was.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. You know, I think too that, you know, for me, oftentimes my biggest resentment is my resentment with myself. You know, looking back and saying, you know, I can't believe I did this, and I did this, and I said this, and blah, blah, blah. And then we talk about, again, missing the movie, right? So when we're sitting in our own resentment and resentments against ourselves, we're actually missing whatever moments we have now because we're living in what if. And living in what if never changes anything. It just keeps us more resentful.
Right, and I always believed as a good person. You know, this is a crazy thing. So I always believed as a good person. And I've been thinking about, you know, you can't love anyone until you love yourself. And I think that's bullshit to a certain degree because I love people more than I love myself. And I think there's a certain level of egotism. I would give you the shirt off my back, but if you had to try to give me your shirt, I would never ever take it. So there's a certain amount of ego that comes into that. And with that became that feeling of feeling really bad, which became a really comfortable place for me to sit.
Right, so is that love? So remember, if I'm doing something for you, and I'm doing it for you so you'll think of me a certain way, which means I'm doing something for you because I want payback, then is that love or am I giving to receive?
Well, it's totally narcissistic.
Exactly. So that I don't believe has anything to do with love. Just because I give to you and I do this and I look good on the outside doesn't mean that I'm doing this because I love you. If I'm doing it because I feel like shit about myself and I want you to like me anyway, that's different. So love comes from self-respect, self-understanding, self-caring, staying in the moment, and then respecting and caring for other people because we can respect and care for ourselves.
So from the outside, everything looked fantastic. You know, the fantastic house, the perfect mom sitting on the PTA, doing all these fantastic wife, amazing meals, all the other shit that goes into it. And on the inside, I was really killing myself. I mean, I was really feeling so bad about who I was. I don't know who I was.
Yeah, and that's a really, by the way, you guys, active addiction is a really, really lonely place to be. It's a really sad, really scary, really lonely place to be.
And it's horrific because when you're sitting in it, it's really hard to think of anything beyond it. You know, so it's easy to sit in those resentments and those feelings of why it's okay to keep picking up and hurting ourselves, and that be the comfortable place to be, rather than maybe something may be different if I tried something different, but it means putting down whatever we're using first, and that's scary.
Yeah, and it's also, you know, we talked about being a victim last time, and actually somebody asked last time, what about if you are a victim, an actual victim of something? And that's different. Of course, that's different. That's a different mindset, and that's different learning. Here we're talking about when we make ourselves out to be victims, right? And we talk about in the rooms of AA where they say, pour me a drink. And like you said, you know, it gives us reason to stay in active addiction. It gives us reason to eat and puke. It gives us reasons to starve ourselves. It gives us reasons to overeat. It gives us reasons to eat opiates or get high or drink or whatever. It gives us reasons to stay where we are instead of saying, okay, this is where I am. How do I get better? You know, this isn't where I want to be anymore. What is it? And you know, I'm going to say it always goes back to willingness, you guys. What is it that I'm willing to do to change what's happening right now? Right?
Right, and that's why this program is so interesting, because it's not for people who need it, because so many people need
Everybody needs it.
You know, for us, it's for people who really want it. So what this enables us to do...
It's not just for people
well,
who
you got to
want
work
it.
for it.
We do have to want it. You're absolutely 1,000% right. But it's in the end, and my sponsor's thing is, really, what are you willing to do? You want it? That's awesome. I want to be a millionaire. You want to sit on your ass in your house and complain about how you don't have money? What is it that you're willing to do for your recovery? Right? Right, you guys? What is it willing? You went into treatment, you're doing step work, you show up, you guys do whatever you're doing, right? What is it that we're willing to do? You know, how much did you want to rush home today to run this meeting? I mean, really, like, we love doing these meetings, but I was sleeping. Did I want to wake up after being at 6 o'clock and get in the car and come over here and run a meeting? No. Am I happy I'm here? Yes. Do I do it because you guys help me stay in recovery? Selfishly, yeah, I do.
Do you know what? I was all kinds of fucked up this whole week. I mean, honestly, I've been sitting in my head, okay, and it's been like really that place where I want to marinate in my poo and just sit there and feel sorry for myself, because that's a really comfortable place for me to be. But I know if I keep sitting there and I don't speak, all of a sudden I start getting sicker and sicker, and this disease of mine sits inside my head, just gets worse, and the voice becomes louder and it becomes easier for me to pick up, where that voice comes in and just one bite or just one person or just go to the casino or pick up a cigarette becomes so much easier. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what that substance is or that action is that distracts us. It's more that obsession that starts creeping in that is really what defines us as addicts.
As addicts, yeah. And if it gives us excuses to use, and or if we're not using at the time, gives us excuses to live in chaos or live in somebody else's chaos. Right?
So
instead of continuing to take a look, need to take a look at me and say, what is it again that I'm willing to do right now, so that I don't have to spiritually be where I am right now.
So why do we do these meetings? We do these meetings because no one gets an addict like another addict understands us. You know, there's stories and there's experiences that we've all had that when we talk, we connect on a heart-to-heart level that no one else will actually understand. A normal person doesn't understand me eating out of garbage cans or doing things that I did to use. They don't get it. So we get together to be able not only to talk and to connect as a community, but also get that support from each other, that when we are going through these crazy headspaces, we can sit and we can talk openly, honestly, without judgment, and be able to get well. And this is how we get well, is by communicating.
You know, and I love that with the judgment thing. You talk about eating out of a garbage pail. So I just have to tell the story real quick. So I have a sponsee a couple of years ago, whatever, and she does, I don't remember what step we're on, and she comes in and she's scared and she's all kinds and she don't want to talk to me or whatever, and we're going through something, and maybe it was even step one, because maybe it was honesty, and she was saying how she would eat with her family and eat what we're supposed to eat, right? So she would have, you know, a piece of chicken or fish or whatever, and her vegetables, and do what she's supposed to do in front of people, or so she thought. She would clear the table, and when she would clear the table, she would line the garbage with a piece of tinfoil. And then she would clear all the plates, and then she would have it in the tinfoil, and she would take the garbage out for her mom. She was a young girl in her early 20s. She would take the garbage out for her mom, and she'd go and she'd throw the garbage out. And then later, when everybody was sleeping, she'd go in the back in the garbage, open up the garbage, and eat from the tinfoil. And she goes to tell me this, and she's hysterical. She tells me the story, and I'm like, and? Like, I thought there was going to be something really bad after the story. Like, something she was going to tell me was going to be so bad. And I'm like, and? And she's just crying, and I'm like, and? Like, it's like when you say nobody understands addiction like addicts. Nobody understands addiction like addicts. Like, was I surprised? No. You know, was it like, oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that story 67,000 times before. Yeah, it's like, you know, we have those days where you're like, you wake up and I was like, you know, I'm so resentful, and I swear to God, if I could get away with it, you know, I would have murdered one of my kids today. And everybody in the rooms is like, yeah. Like, I felt like that yesterday. So, you know, yesterday when it's we get it. We understand each other's thinking. We excuse each other's thinking because we do understand about getting well and doing whatever it is that we need to do to share, to understand ourselves better, and to grow up spiritually.
So as a food addict, the one thing that I found in common with a lot of food addicts is we have our secret drawer. Like either that drawer, either
so
that
anorexic, by the way, because
okay.
Angela,
there
I
was
have a
either
drawer.
the drawer next to the bed, okay, and God forbid the kids even try to touch it, because that was my stash, okay. Don't go near it.
I still have one.
That's so funny. And my parents had one, and it's like a family tradition that we passed down, okay, of the secret stash of stuff, okay.
Right. With addicts and alcoholics, we had secret shit everywhere, right? Under the bed, in like the craziest places, like you think nobody else would. Oh, boots are the best, right? You put your socks underneath your boots, you put your drugs underneath
I
there.
had stashes in places that sometimes I open up a handbag and there's a little zip, and I go, oh shit, I'm gonna get rid of this, okay. This isn't something I want to keep in there, okay.
I know.
That's
and
so
it's also
funny.
with alcoholics, when you're in the middle of your alcoholism, can't remember what you did with nothing. So then you wake up in the morning, you're like, where's my tequila? And then you have to search the whole entire house in the 87,000 places, right, that you're used to putting it, but you can't find it because you can't remember what you did last night. That's always a lot of fun too.
So within this whole thing of resentments, and coming back just to our topic, so
we're still talking.
We're still talking. I've got verbal diarrhea tonight. So one of
you're feeling resentful about that.
So one of the things that I came to realize, because I'm kind of like doing through the self-actualization and working through our workbook and doing some of the stuff, is I think my biggest ownership in this whole thing of why I'm sitting with resentment and really feeling bad is that I'm a people pleaser. And the fact that my kids don't want to spend time with me is like really the worst thing sitting in me, is that ego side of it is just really difficult to deal with. It's amazing how much our ego comes into play.
Well, remember too, you guys, when our kids don't want to spend time with us, we're going to do a little psych here thing. When our kids don't want to spend time with us, when we're honest about it, it makes us feel unloved and a little disrespected, and a little bit of that, you know, I've spent my whole life doing absolutely my best for you, and now I'm well, and I just want to see your little shining faces, and you don't want to spend time with me. It makes you feel bad. It does, and that's something that we look at ourselves. Like, okay, now I'm fabulous. Why don't you want to hang with me right now? And that's stuff that we go through, I think, as parents, and we go through it especially as parents who are working through recovery.
And I think we go through that as spouses as well.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
as friends,
and dating, and there's like
absolutely.
so many different levels, and then that whole level of codependency of, you know, you're only as happy as your
family is.
Right. Okay, it's like, what the
God.
fuck? Okay,
Right.
like seriously?
That?
Okay, yeah, I get it. So should we check in?
I think we should let you guys speak. You want to start this way or that way?
That way.
That way. Okay, Laura. Hi. How are you?
Hi.
How are you feeling?
Hi, how are you guys? So I'm glad to be here. Glad to see everyone. I'm much less irritable than I was a couple days ago.
Good.
Which is good. I'm working on my steps, working on my homework for this weekend.
Good.
Really focusing on gratitude.
You did step one, right? You did
Yeah,
the
step
honesty,
one.
our first one. And are you
Yeah.
on step 2 now?
Yep, I'm just
Okay.
on step 2 now.
Okay, because that's what we're doing this week, right? You guys are on
Yeah.
step 2? Okay. All right, yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll go over your step 1 as well. So the step 1, the honesty part, I mean, you're just post-surgery. You're going to be going through a whole lot right now. A whole lot of physical and spiritual stuff.
Yep.
And so we'll make sure that we spend a little bit of time on some of your questions on step 1. We'll go back a little bit so that you could get some input from the whole group on
Right.
Saturday, because I'm proud of you for doing this. So good for you.
Thanks.
Really
thank
good
you.
for you. And physically, you're feeling like a Karen, like a proud mama up there smiling.
Yeah.
I love
One
her.
thing that's been so interesting that I've noticed about myself, and it was from our last small group meeting, when I had said something and you asked me to restate it in a much more honest way, which was interesting to me. It kind of stuck with me because, I know how to say things and word things at times, and they sound really pretty. I can say really pretty things, package it in a nice, neat little bow.
Yes, you can.
But that's not always me being honest. I'm not meaning to be deceptive, but it's not me necessarily. It looks good. It sounds good.
Right. So it's not you being authentic.
True.
And so we're going to say that when we're not being authentic in a way, we're kind of lying.
Right.
Right? Right. And that lie that you're telling first is to yourself, because the lie that you're telling yourself is, if I show up and I say all these words all nice and pretty, nobody has to see who I am or how I feel or
Right.
what I'm going through. They could just look at me and say, wow, look at this cool chick we just met who's hanging out with us in the group. Isn't she so smart and so cool and so kind? And yeah, you are all those things. But in order for you to be happy, you need to be true to yourself and get honest with everybody else, because that it's when we're not authentic, when we're sitting there, that gives us our best reason to use, right? Because I don't want you to, not only do I want you to see me, but I don't want me to see me either.
Right.
I don't want to see who I am and how I feel. And when I do see how I feel, I don't want to feel like this. So now what am I going to do?
Yep.
So I just want to clarify something, because Dora Lynn asked a question about what are these steps. So Dr. Felice actually developed her own workbook that deals with different things that we go through when we step into recovery. It's specific for people who are dealing with our problem. And these are the things that people are working through in our small groups and in our workshops, and that's what we're referring to.
Yeah, that's what we're referring to. So there's a whole lot of soul searching. And remember, in the beginning, we're going to talk about honesty, right? And in the beginning, getting honest, the person we need to get honest with is us. We get honest with everybody else more naturally once we get honest with ourselves. But it's ourselves that we're bullshitting. When we have to show up, so when we use the word ego, which we talk about a lot, you were just talking about ego. Ego is what I think you think of me. So I don't really have any sense of self. The only sense of self I have is reflected in your eyes. So if you think I'm fabulous, maybe I'm fabulous. So I need to show up and be fabulous and cool and awesome so that you can tell me how fabulous and cool and awesome I am, because I have absolutely no sense of who the F I am.
Right.
Right? And so it's finding that out, and it's being able to look at myself and say, okay, this is the person I am. What do I want to work on? What do I want to keep? Right? And what do I want to learn how to discover about myself and then share with others? So eventually I learn, as I continue to learn, to be happier, right? And to stop being afraid of who I am. And to understand that I did this, and so did about 80 billion other people, and if they didn't do it, they thought about doing it. And that my addiction don't make me unique, man. My addiction makes me the same as everybody else, as every other addict, right? And that's okay. That's who we are. You know, other people don't eat all day and vomit all day. Other people don't starve themselves for a week. You know, other people don't eat 400 milligrams of opiates a day. They don't do that, but we all do. And as addicts, we're all doing it for the same reason. So again, it never matters what we're picking up, matters why we're picking up. And our whys are always going to be the same. It's because spiritually we're sick, and we're going to learn how to get well, learn to take a look at ourselves, learn how to get well, and then learn to be happy, which is what we deserve to be.
So I just want to touch on something because this seems to be a point of confusion all the time. There are a lot of programs out there, okay, in terms of different kinds of anonymous programs that are there, okay. The only time I really started understanding recovery was when I met Felice. She'd spent so much money in different programs and doing different things. I'd been in different fellowships as well, and what Way for Recovery really is taking everything and combining it together to something that works. So whatever it is this is a program that's been formulated to help us understand what recovery is, because it is so vast and some of us don't get it in the traditional methods, and this makes it easier and more tangible.
Yeah, we're just really pretty much so to the point. We've all been to AA or OA or NA, love all of them. Shout out to every one of the A groups and everyone that's ever gotten clean anywhere. God bless you in your recovery and my recovery for that. For us, what we do at Why We're for Recovery, similar but a little bit different. And most importantly with us, is that we're going to understand that we're all the same. Again, no matter what you're picking up, we're all the same. You want to talk about drugs or alcohol or sex or gambling or whatever. It's never about what we're using. It's always about why we're using. It's always about why. And our whys are always exactly the same. That makes us all the same. And as soon as we decide that me, I never shut up yet, me shooting up doesn't make me different from you throwing up, doesn't make us any different. We're all the same because we're all doing it because we're spiritually sick. And we all need to find out how to get well so that we can get happy.
And that's the goal ultimately, is to be able to live with joy.
Yeah.
You know, that's really, that's where it is. You know, it's not, Dora and Linda asked about purchasing the workbook. This isn't something, recovery isn't something that you go out and buy. It's something that it is an experience that you live with, and it's tools that you live with, and it's being in community, and it's so many different facets that help us get well, not only get well, but stay well.
The thing is too, is that if we could buy a workbook and do it and get well, then nobody would have to be in recovery. If we'd all just do a workbook and get better.
If I could use and not have the consequences, I would keep on using.
Yeah, actually, so would I. I told you, my therapist asked me that like a couple of weeks ago. She said, if you could use and everything would be fine, would you use? And I was like, fuck yeah.
Sure.
Like, you know,
Sure.
It's what I know. Like, it's what I'm used to. If I didn't have to deal with me on a daily basis and there were no consequences, would I do it? Yeah, you guys, it's what I'm used to doing. You know, yes, it's the way that my brain is used to handling any kind of stressors or distress. Do I choose to do that now? Of course not, because are there consequences? Tremendous, tremendous consequences. To the outside world, yes, but spiritually to me, it doesn't allow me to be a productive, caring, kind, giving human being that's of service out there in the universe, which is today what I choose to be in my recovery.
So if Dora's interested in the workbook, could she potentially do the workshop?
Yeah, so we're on the second week of the workshop, so anybody that's interested, we could have somebody go back over your first step, go ahead and I am one of us.
Well, they can start the next cycle.
Yeah, or whatever, yeah, so just
so
I am us and we'll give you some information.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna run a one-day.
Yeah, we're going to do a one-day informative workshop that's kind of an overview, and you can see where you place now, how you're sitting. And we've actually, talking of service, we've got the most amazing, bright community, and people have been collaborating to come up with a questionnaire to help us determine if we really are addicts or if we've got an issue with food and what that looks like. And that questionnaire is going to be posted within the next week. So just watch for that as well. We're going to post that in so many different places. Google, YouTube, you name it, wherever we can, Facebook, we'll post it up there.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So thank you for sharing, Laura. Laura, you're going to do great things, baby. It's going to be really, really hard and really, really worth it.
Thank you.
And we're here anytime you're struggling. We've got this group. It's on Facebook. It's a closed. I'm saying this for people who are here that are joining us for the first
not
time.
for Laura, 'cause Laura knows.
Laura knows. So we've got a closed group called What's Eating You. It's on Facebook. You have to sign up to become a member. It's not open to the public. And what it means is only people who are in that group can see what you're posting. And the reason that it's there is on those days or those times when we really are getting into our heads and we need to say, I'm having a tough time, or I need some help, or I need some advice or something. We've got a place to go in a community that we with like-minded people.
Yeah, with other crazies, right, that understand us. Miss Sarah, what's going on, girl?
Hello,
Hi.
hi everybody.
Where are you at?
It's nice to see everybody. Everything is doing pretty well. I'm definitely, I'm still in my recovery, and I'm happy with my recovery.
How long?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. How long do you have now?
Can't hear anybody.
Oh.
Sorry, I can't hear you guys, but I was gonna say that, yeah, but
Thank you, Angela.
in terms of, just talking about secrets and all that, it's crazy when, looking back and thinking, wow, when it came to like purging, how much I had to go through and how much I put myself through just to hide what I was trying to do. So looking back, I'm looking in the present, I'm just happy not to be in that place anymore, and the ability to stay in the present moment and enjoy the moment, and like we always say, like not miss the movie.
Right.
So I'm really happy to be in the position that I am today.
Sarah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Thank you, Angela. Sarah, too, think about like when you were binging and purging. When we first met you, you were a mess. And you were in your head, like we could see when you were in the room, you were in your head all the time, all the time, all the time, and scared all the time, all the time. And not only scared about what was happening in your life, but then on top of that, have to worry about how am I going to eat and puke? How am I going to eat and puke? How am I going to eat and puke? How am I going to eat and puke all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time? It's so horrifying to be there, right? Oh, we just lost her. It's a horrifying place to be, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because it's that constant, every time you eat something, you want to know where to purge, how to purge, this, that, and it's just like that constant all day, every day. So it's very time consuming, and you miss a lot of just, everything that's going on in the world because you're so in your addiction.
Yeah, and also you're afraid of being caught. You're ashamed of what you're doing. You're guilty. You feel so horrible about yourself, and it's quite freeing to, even when you want to, because you're going to go through times where you're going to feel like, I really wish that I could binge and purge right now, just like I really wish I could do 400 milligrams of oxycodone, like at times. But it doesn't mean we're going to do it, right? Because they're just feelings that we have. But when we take that out of our world, when we're abstinent, we get to take a look at ourselves and start working on the us part, right? Start working on the part, why am I scared, and why can't I live in this moment, without using? And, affect-wise, just the way that you show up is so different, and I'm really proud of you. I know that you're abstinent, I know that you're not binging and you're not purging, and I'm really proud of you for that, but that's like the beginning of the stuff that we do, but I'm really proud of you for how much you're working on yourself and how much you do show up. So good for you.
And I must just say something. I just want to give a shout out to Sarah as well, because she does unbelievable service. She was here yesterday. She's like really involved in the group, and she's awesome.
Wireless color.
Is that here?
Is it?
Someone's getting wireless color.
Oh.
That's okay.
Color.
Sorry.
Thank you, Sarah. Miss Jess? Jess?
Hi guys.
Hi, Jess. What's up, girly?
Things are going well here. I think I'm in a much better place than I was last time I was here in a meeting. I can't remember what day that was,
Good.
but things are better. And I think the reason I was struggling was I wasn't in the moment. I was kind of like missing the movie, as we say, because I was living in fear about like some medical things. And so now that that's all passed, I'm able to just focus back on the movie recovery, and I'm doing better.
It's so funny, as human beings, so something comes up, and let's say we're scared. I got some blood tests because I don't feel well, right? And I'm scared it's going to be this, or this. It's normal to have some fear. How long we stay there is how long we stay there, right? So that's something that we do better with as we're in recovery. And it's funny because after you get through it, you realize that the time that you spent in fear really wasn't time well spent, right? Because how did it serve you? It didn't. But because it didn't change the outcome. So if you are going to find out, if you were scared, if you have some tests done, and you're going to find out that your head's going to fall off, whether you're scared or not, if your head's going to fall off, it's going to fall off, right? Now, if we're worried about
Right.
our head falling off, is that normal? Yeah, it's normal to have some fear. But what happens as we work through it, or as we get through it, we can look back at it and say, you know, how did that serve me? And maybe next time I'll just remember that the world's going to turn the way that it turns, and that if I'm scared all day today, at 5 o'clock, it's going to be 5 o'clock. And if I'm not scared
Right.
all day today, at 5 o'clock, it's going to be 5 o'clock. That my fear doesn't change
And
anything.
I tried to be that way. Like I told myself those things, but like talking it and actually, I guess, believing it in my heart was different. Because I think I talked to Haiti a little bit about it and told her things are going to be fine no matter what. Things are going to be fine. So I was all about acceptance. But you know, the other part of me that I've lived that way for all the rest of my life kind of overtook it, and so practice makes perfect.
But the thing is, too, is that you are a human being. So we're going
Right.
to have those human emotions. We're going to get scared. I mean, it's a human emotion, right? Probably,
Yeah.
excuse me, handled it a whole lot differently than you would have 8 months ago,
Yes.
right? Right? You didn't use, you didn't binge, you didn't do any of that stuff. You went through some
Right.
fear, you reached out to a friend, you saw that you got over it, and so, okay, so you're a human being having a human experience. That's okay too, right?
Yeah.
It's sucky when you're going through it, and then after we learn that, and it's okay that we went through something and we were scared and we didn't use, right? And we
Yeah.
survived it, right?
Yeah.
Without using, I mean. So, yeah.
Right.
You know, and I think also part of it is that illusion. You know, I always have this thing of what we think about, we bring about, in the sense that we control our world and the things that happen with it. That illusion of before I stepped into recovery, I thought I was responsible and could control so much. And being here, it's a slightly different way of looking at things. It doesn't stop the fear when things are happening, but sometimes my mind goes back to that same place of, you know, this is something I can't control, and the fear starts stepping in, and then I start getting anxious, and I can 100% relate to that.
Yeah, and we all do that. And we're all gonna do that. You know, none of us are, I wonder if Mother Teresa gets scared. But anyway, we are who we are as human beings. It's just that you didn't use, you reached out, you got through it, and you're not creating chaos after the fact. You know, it's
Right.
like, okay, I thought my head was gonna fall off, but it didn't. Then I spend the next month talking to everybody on the planet about how horrible it was and how scared I was and how this I was and how this could have happened and this could have happened and this could have happened. But you're not doing that either, right? You're like, okay, I
Yeah.
had this experience. I'm feeling better. I got through it. Da da da. That's the recovery part, right?
Yeah.
You're also
Yep.
not living in yesterday's
and it-
misery.
I had a friend tell me yesterday, I haven't hung out with her a whole lot since being in recovery, because we both had stuff going on and whatnot, but we hung out yesterday, and she told me, she said, something is different about you. She said, it's not just the physical, like, I feel like you're so grounded and like you can solve the world's problems. And like, it was just the best compliment. And I said, it's just recovery. She's like, maybe I need to go to treatment. It's just
Everybody does. Good for you, Jess.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You know, one of the blessings of being an addict is that we have a program that we can rely on. You know, when things start getting crazy and we start getting those compulsive, obsessive behaviors or thoughts, whatever it is, we've got a program that we can use and help us get through those really difficult times.
Yeah, even when we're not using. So it's like, yay, okay. You know, I was having a conversation with a patient the other day who actually her grandson had passed away. And we were talking about, you know, my son had died. And I said, you know, whatever happened in my world happened. And I was as sick for as long as I was sick. And I still have to believe. Do I believe everything happens for a reason? No, I don't. Do I believe everything happens? Yes, I do. Do I believe we all have our own experiences? Yes, I do. Do I believe that every single thing that's happened in my life has led me right here? Well, yeah, because it has. Right? So our experiences are our experiences. And once we are in recovery, even it's not even like we just have recovery and then we don't use it, it's over. We get to work on ourselves with the spiritual principles behind what we're doing, with those spiritual principles, and with forwarding ourselves spiritually and helping each other and being of service. We get to live like that because we choose to live like that, And so we get to be happier and better and more understanding and more of service to the universe as a way of life. So it's really not, I think everybody's recovering from something. I don't care if it's drugs or alcohol or your bad attitude or your chaos or whatever it is. My kids, or John Carlos, always like, Mom, everybody's addicted to something. And it's kind of the truth. But it's about learning to live life on life's terms, as they say, right? Learning to live now, to be in now, to do the best that we can, and to understand that there are so many things that we're not in control of, and that everything that we have been through has led us to right here. And there are a whole lot of moments right now that I'm awfully happy for that I never would have happened had the things in my life not happened, because they've made me who I am and put me where I am right now. So, and that is what it is, right?
So I heard an amazing speaker, and one of the things that they were saying, and it really had me thinking about this, is like we wallowing in the mud. Like before we walk into recovery or step into the rooms, we're really wallowing in the mud of all the stories all the things that have happened in the past, and the stories and the mistruths and the lies and the things that we've taken on that belong to other people, our parents, the injustices, whatever it is, and it's all these different layers of muck that we're sitting in. And one of the things that the program is able to do is it takes it away that we can step into honesty and clear up that mess and give us clarity and be able to be right here, right now, without taking on other people's stuff or the way we were or things that happened in the past, and being able just to be present right here for what it is right this second.
In the moment. Yeah, you sent that out to all of us, right? Is that what you sent out? Oh, that was someone else? Okay, so we'll listen to that too then. Yeah, so thank you so much, Miss Jess. Miss Karen.
Hi.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
The longer I'm in recovery, the more I realize this is a continuing process. And with resentments, I find myself being kind of hit in the head, the back of the head again with them. And so I have to keep working at it and keep revisiting it and keep focusing on acceptance and what Jess said and Haiti said, what you said. It all resonates so well, because I do find myself kind of falling back into resentments here, there, and everywhere with myself and others. And if I don't continue to work on that forever, it's just going to keep coming back and keep coming back.
Yeah, and Karen, it's so funny. So one of my favorite quotes, so you guys know I love quotes, is holding resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You know, the resentment kills us. You don't even know I have a resentment against you. It just kills me. Right? And so it certainly doesn't serve me. Pardon?
It makes me feel crappy when I feel those resentments.
Of course.
So it's exactly what you said.
Of course.
It's so right.
Of course. And that, you talk about, I love that you use the word indignation. But when you talk about that, it's like, how dare the world show up like this? And how could that person treat me like this? And who are you? Like we're just people. Like, I'm not so special. I'm just a person. You got a challenge with me? Okay. That's okay. This person was mad. Oh, okay, that happened. It's not for me to fix it. It's for me to be as understanding and compassionate as possible, right? And again, for me, I'm going to go back to it. And for me, it's letting go of the way that I resent myself is always what it comes back to with me. For me, it's always those feelings of being less than or unlovable or not good enough. Those things that allow me to hold resentments in myself that I get to pay my shrink all that money, to see, so that I can work on that as well. So God bless us all, right?
Right. And each time I work through it, I pull myself back up, because as I deal with each resentment, it pushes me down to where I feel a struggle to get back up.
Yeah.
And so it really does. It poisons me.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Resentments are exhausting, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah. And, we went through, I went through that whole time with you where I kept saying to you, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I love saying that to myself, because when I say that, forgive them, for they know not what they do, makes me realize like nothing is happening to me. It doesn't have anything to do with me. It's the world turning the way that it is. If you show up in a bad mood at work and you're yelling at me, that doesn't have to do with me. I get to look at the other person. I'm not going to mention any names. I get to look at the other person. We'll just call him B. Well, I get to look at B and say, wow, how miserable and upset must that person be to have to act the way that they're acting. And I get to feel bad for them. And I get to forgive them because they're unhappy and unkind. And I get to, and again, we talked about this, pray for that person. Pray for that person. I used to say, yeah, I'm going to pray that that person gets hit by a truck. I'm going to start praying right now. But that's not what it means. It's hope. I'm going to use the word hope instead of pray. Hope that they feel better so that they could be happier, right? Because the more joy that's spread, the more joy that's spread. Yes.
So I have to share this with you. So I'm chatting to a friend yesterday and we're saying, you know, I get a resentment against someone and I have this whole conversation in my head, and 3 days later I'm still having this whole argument of how I'm laying out this massive conversation with them and how they're responding and what they've said, and I'm getting more resentful and more angry, and I haven't said one word to that person. Okay. And then all of a sudden I bring it up to them and they react totally differently and it throws me totally off. So one of the things besides that, and it's sometimes those resentments can carry on for months and sometimes years, and then I can't even remember what started the whole thing, okay? Or they might not even remember what started the whole thing altogether.
We've done that before, where you said something to me and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. None.
And then I want to smack her. Okay?
Twice.
So one of the things that I'm also realizing is that I am like imperfectly perfect, okay? So I'm working on being able to accept criticism. You know, criticism for me is when my indignation like kicks in. God forbid any of my kids or my husband says something to me, I get in that indignation mode of like, don't you know who I am? Okay, there's no ways that you can criticize what I'm doing because I'm just so imperfectly perfect.
And do we know why you feel like that? Do we want to discuss that on camera? Because I could shrink you a little bit.
Because it's just really, I don't value myself that much. It's my ego, you know, that's really, I don't believe that I deserve that much. I mean, that's really where it stems from.
Right, and it's so, so one of the 4 agreements, everybody out there, everyone out there, read the 4 agreements. Read the little cliff notes on the 4 agreements. Read something about it, but one of the 4 agreements is don't take it personally. Remember, the way that I show up is the way that I show up. It has to do with me. It doesn't have to do with you. If I tell you, you know what? You look like a piece of shit today. I can't even believe that you showed up like that. That doesn't have anything to do with you. It has to do with me, where I am in the world today, and how I've decided to be a mean bitch to you today. It doesn't have to do with you. If you think you look fabulous, you're going to say, uh-oh, maybe Felice is high. She ain't looking at me because I look great, right? But if you feel like crap about yourself, you're going to say, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. You know, I really don't know why she said that. And then that made me feel really bad. And that's about you. So how everybody else shows up is about them. How I receive it is about me. If you come in and you say, Felice, you look, we're going to do a thing that I would believe. You gained a little bit of weight there. I'm an anorexic. Gained a little bit of weight there, Felice. You're looking real good. Look a little fatter today. You're looking real good. Now, I would definitely take that personally and be like, oh my God, maybe I am fat. You know, I shouldn't have eaten that what I ate yesterday, and that's okay because if I starve myself for the next 17 days, and I don't really know why she said that. Maybe she said that because she's not nice or because she's mad at me, or blah, blah, blah. Instead of just saying, oh, I bet Heidi's in a bad place today because she felt like picking on me. I really hope she feels better later. Right?
Right.
Right. So yeah. So that's what that's about. So we believe what we believe because we believe it. Right? Otherwise we can let it go. And so that's about us when we talk about self-love and self-caring and knowing that we are enough and knowing that you really are perfectly imperfect and that that's perfect. Right? And that no matter what she says about you or I say about you or the kids do or your husband doesn't do, doesn't have anything to do with you. It's about them having their own life experience. And the way that we take it is the way that we take it.
So by having resentment stops us from looking at ourselves. It becomes the excuse of not being able to look at the things that we are uncomfortable in ourselves about.
Right, or that we feel less than or unlovable for. Those things that we can learn to see ourselves as imperfect, and that's okay. Right, to see ourselves as a work in progress, which is beautiful. That's all we are. We're all human beings. The more that we're moving forward to move forward, great. The better we can be of service to everybody else, right? But if she's mean to you, if Dawn is mean to you, it's because Dawn's a bitch. It's not because of you. It's not. It's because of how she decided to show up today. It's not about you. So now Dawn comes in and she says, you know, Haiti, I've been waiting outside for you for 15 minutes and I can't believe you weren't here. And you get upset about it. It's because you're taking it personally. Instead of you saying, wow, I really hope Dawn feels better later, because it's not Dawn. You know, so I really hope that she feels better later. I'm going to see how I could be of service to her, maybe help her out a little bit so that she doesn't have to be such a mean bitch tomorrow.
So as,
Right?
100%. So
Right.
with the addict's brain, okay, when I'm in active addiction, I say a million things that I don't mean. I show up as the bitch, okay, and I show up as that person who's in pain and who's really reactive and really not a very kind, compassionate, loving person. And that's how I showed up for years and years and years. And recovery gives us the tools and the ability and the community to be able to show up as kind, compassionate, and loving.
Sincerely.
Sincerely.
Not
And
somebody who's
honestly,
working
I mean,
on
honestly.
ego and acting
Right.
like that on the outside so that you'll think that I'm okay. But somebody
Right.
who actually shows kindness and compassion, first because we have kindness and compassion for ourselves because we have to be able to share that with somebody else, to be able to truly share it, not to act, but to truly share
And
that
I'm
with
doing
somebody.
things because it makes them happy, not because
Right.
of any other
Right,
motivation.
not because of what I'm going to get back from it.
Right.
Right? Give to give.
Right.
Right. And you want to check in, baby. We're talking about resentment.
No.
No. All right. Well, you decide. If you decide to share about resentment.
We have 10 minutes. I'd rather you.
Okay, we're going to go around. Hi. You don't have to share, but we're going to say hi to you. How are you? I don't know if you want to introduce yourself by your first name. You don't have to. You can. It's up to you.
I'm Lou.
Hi, Lou.
Hi, Lou. Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome here today. Is there anything that you want to share in this crazy place? Okay. Well, we're really glad that you're here. And we hope that you'll come back and take from this whatever it is that you do or don't want to take from it. But we're really glad that you're here. Awesome. So it's scary to show up. So you walk into a room of all of these crazy people and you don't know anybody and you feel uncomfortable, which is very difficult. I don't know what your gig is. I don't know if you're a drug addict or a binger or a purger or an anorexic or whatever you are. But no matter what, when we're in active addiction, we walk around scared anyway. And then to pull ourselves out of our comfort zone and put ourselves somewhere else, that shows a little bit of willingness. So good for you for taking that little bit of a step. And my hope is that you reach out to the community. Everybody's super easy to chat with. And if you want to move forward in your recovery, which is our hope for you, that you'll reach out and become a part of the community.
And
Of
I
course.
just want to also say something. In the beginning, when I first stepped into a meeting, I didn't understand a thing. It sounded like I thought these people were crazy.
Well,
But
we
the
are
one thing
crazy.
one of the suggestions that were made to me is that if you keep coming back, more will get revealed and it becomes, things start making sense. And even if they don't make sense, if you're compelled to come back, we welcome you and we're just glad to have you here.
Yeah, so thanks for being here. Alibaba. Hi, sweetheart.
Robin.
Yeah,
Or Robin, or whatever we decide to call you.
Robin.
Shout out to Robin if you're
Yeah,
listening.
hi,
I miss
Robin,
you.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
the brain scrambled today.
What's up, Allie?
Hi. I'm forced to share. My sponsor made
No,
me
you're
share.
Just speak up though.
I'm not sure what I want to share about today.
Okay. Are you clean?
Yeah,
Okay, how long have you been clean?
4 days.
Okay.
Or
Awesome.
Or
Okay.
restart. 4 days. 4th day.
Okay.
Um.
And talk to me how you're feeling about being in recovery. Truth. Tell me the truth.
Today I'm okay.
Okay.
I am. Some days I don't wanna, or I don't know. You know.
I hear ya.
But today I want to.
Okay.
And it's nice to see changes from where I was in the beginning, not physical changes, but the spiritual changes. That's really good. And I also realized that I don't think before I really thought I was a food addict, but now I do.
Okay.
After like multiple like relapses and things like that, I think it's kind of that surface level, like, yeah, I'm an addict, I think, but now it's like, yeah, I am.
Okay.
So, there are lessons learned.
Okay, and that's a tough realization. And a lot of times, we show up for different reasons. So for me, I showed up in the rooms because I had to, because I was going to die or live. I didn't really have too much of a choice. Times I showed up because I had to, because I needed to be able to live somewhere, you know what I mean, and not live on the street. When we show up for ourselves, it's a little bit different. And when we can actually say, and I don't know if you're back doing a first step, but you need to go back to the beginning and do a first step, because first step is honesty. And if you can't say, I am an addict, with everything that goes along with it, with the good and the bad, with what I have to learn about myself, what I will learn about myself, and how I'll learn to grow spiritually, but I'm an addict, just like everybody else. I'm not better than an alcoholic. I'm not better than a heroin addict. I'm not worse than a bulimic. I'm not worse than an anorexic. We're all the same, right? Spiritually, we're all the same. Doesn't matter what drug we're picking up, because that was a thing with you in the beginning. And the reason why that was a thing with you in the beginning was because you really didn't believe that you were an addict, right? Alcoholics, remember we went to that AA meeting? And you were like, I'm not as bad as those people are. Yeah, spiritually, you're just as sick as the rest of us. And so that's okay. That's okay. And so that's starting at the beginning. And then again, we talk about willingness. You know, what are you willing? Are you willing to stop binging? Are you willing to stop doing the things that you're doing that's keeping you where you're at? You know, if I do what I did, I'm going to get what I have. There's no fucking way around that. If my behavior is the same, my behavior is the same. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So it's saying, what is it that I'm willing to do right now to move forward in my recovery? Am I willing to take suggestion? This one here, when I was her sponsor, she didn't want to do exactly what I told her to do. She could have effed off. That was my thing with her. You don't want to do it? F you, man. Go find another sponsor. You guys know I don't play. I really don't. So, you know, for her, it was a whole lot of willingness, and she hated me a whole lot for a long period of time. But she has over a year clean. And that's because she was willing to do whatever it was that I told her, whether she agreed with it or not. Because she knew that she was so friggin' sick that if she didn't get better, she was going to get dead. That's where she was. She was either going to kill herself or she was going to make a choice to learn how to live in recovery, because spiritually she was that broken. When we go around thinking, I'm fat and happy, I'm just a happy drunk. Yeah, I was a real happy drunk. That worked out real well for me, by the way, you guys. You know, or I'm fat and happy, like you used to say. It's bullshit that we tell ourselves because we're so scared to take a look at who we are and where we are and all of the things that we do wish to change so that we could be happy, spiritually better, and be of service. I believe that of service is why we're here. That's what I believe. So, and to be of service to others. So for you to actually say, I'm an addict, congratulations. Because that's the very first important step of your very first step. So congratulations for saying that.
You know, as difficult as it was for me to say that, and it took me a long time to really say it, it was liberating when I did, because all of a sudden I could name it and I knew I had a disease, and it wasn't something that was based on willpower, because I tried the willpower to change things, and it took something greater than myself to be able to step into recovery and to be able to work recovery. And that's pretty liberating, but it takes a bit of time to be able to see it. So just for people who are, because we have people in different stages, some of the suggestions that were made to me is, firstly, don't pick up no matter what.
Yeah, don't pick up, you guys, because we can't start our recovery if we're in active addiction.
We had 2 meetings a week. They're free meetings. Hop onto the call, hop into this room, hop on here. I didn't know what this was. I got brought in by a friend because she said I had to, essentially. I didn't know what I was going into. 3 years later, I started understanding it. But I didn't understand what it was. I thought other people were addicts and people were just crazy around me. But, you know, sometimes if you spot it, you got it.
Right.
So it's a process and it takes time. But the first step comes with, first is putting down everything.
Yeah.
Is abstaining.
Yeah. Ms. Dawn?
Do we have time?
Yeah, so we were
of
talking
course.
about it, and you said that you didn't feel resentful. You weren't having any resentments toward anybody else, and that's one of the reasons why I said out loud first, usually my resentments fall within me.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say
That was for you,
that,
babe.
as Lee
Speak up.
said,
Yeah.
my resentments are definitely directed towards myself. Now, it's funny because in 2 days I'll have 5 months.
Oh,
Awesome.
girl.
Very awesome for me.
Very awesome for anybody.
Yeah. A lot of good things are happening. The promises are coming true. I'm showing up for everybody that needs me, but in a good way.
Mhm.
You know, not like I'm being pulled in 100 different directions. I'm able to be present and helpful and involved, and that's wonderful. And I'm going to see my son in San Francisco for a couple of days. In a couple of weeks I'm going. I'm going to Sanibel for a week in June.
Very cool.
Just good things, healthy things, normal things. Instead of sitting in a room, you know, doing drugs for all day. And, you know, right before I got sober, I was on a really long tear. And I had a spiritual experience. And it changed my perception of everything. But I've been, lately, Johnny Cash song has been running through my head every day. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. Keep my eyes wide open all the time because I cannot rest on my laurels.
Mhm.
I have to be vigilant about working my program, working my recovery, you know, staying present in it and not thinking that, okay, so I'm sober now, you know, everything's okay. Because, you know, things come up about me, things that I'm looking at like we all do when we're in recovery, and it's really good. I was in and out of recovery probably for 10 years before I could admit that I was an alcoholic and an addict.
Yeah.
And really believe it.
Right,
You know,
right.
and I could admit it, I
Right.
could say it, but this time I really believed it, and at the same time I accepted it. And then I could accept myself, and then I could love myself, treat myself gently. So it's just been it's been wonderful, and not every minute is rosy, but I am very happy to be where I am today, and I look forward to getting even better, you know.
Yes.
So I just want to say something. Dawn's one of the people who stepped into service, you know, and that thing of service that you speak about and being present. When we're in active addiction, we're in our own heads and we are the only focus of our own world and no one else exists. And being of service is one of the best ways and the easiest ways to start really getting in touch with our spiritual side as well. Because I'm just starting to notice the timing, and I know you want to read the promises. There are two things that really have been a godsend. One is the service, two is gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Being grateful for what we have and being able to express it. We share what we're grateful for every single day. So we do that on What's Eating You, we do it through texting each other, we do it through different ways, many ways on WhatsApp. 3 things you're grateful for right now and your strength for the day. Share that, and it's one of the easiest steps towards spiritual change.
Yeah, it helps us help you get out of here and let you recognize what it is that happened in your day. 3 little tiny things when there should be 3 million things that we were grateful for today. But it lets us look at 3 things that we were grateful for today and how we got through our day with whatever strength was one that's recognizable.
We're meeting up on Sunday again at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For the people who are in the workshop, it's 10:30 on Saturday. The other thing is we do have different service opportunities, and as a community, we're putting that together. Anyone who wants to get involved, IM me, text me, let me know that you want to be part of the planning committee and start getting involved in service.
And it's not too late to join the workshop. We can, they
Yeah.
can message us and
Yeah.
we can just have someone go over stuff.
Yeah,
while
questions
we're
about the
there.
workshop, send an IM, you guys. Thank you, Anjali. Send an IM. We're going to do that one day thing, and we'll speak about stuff that's up and coming as well.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to read the promises from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous because I can, and because I love it, and because the promises come true to us who stay clean and work on our recovery. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that the universe does for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We don't think so. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly, but they will always materialize if we work for them. I'm so blessed and grateful to be in recovery. I'm blessed and grateful to be here with every one of you. Thank you for helping me with my recovery. This is our Thursday evening Why Wait for Recovery community meeting.
And my name's Heidi, and I'm so blessed and grateful to be in recovery. And if no one's told you today that they love you, I love you. And we'll see you on Sunday.
Peace out, you guys.
Everybody.
Recovery's awesome.
Yes, it is.